When the political history of liberation will be written in this country, the story of Jesus will go down in the abyss of our history, and it will be told by generations to come. It will be included in the first generation that took to the forest to fight the colonial masters, and they won. And then came the second liberation, where people were fighting to liberate the country against one party state, and Section 2 was repealed in 1992. Then we know people have tried to liberate our country from the hands of orchestrated new colonial masters, the neo-colonialism. But if there is a generation that has achieved that within the shortest period, is this generation. They not only, in the history of Kenya, forced a sitting president to dissolve a cabinet, they also forced an IG, Inspector General of Police, to resign. And that has been discussed. But if there is one area that has really shocked many Kenyans, both living locally and abroad, is the fact that this generation managed to implement a curfew on President William Samuel Ruto. They literally placed a curfew so that William Ruto has not traveled for now 1 month beyond our borders. A president who got into power and has never stayed in the country for more than 3 weeks, shockingly has been in the country for now more than 1 month. William Ruto's last journey outside the country was in June 13th, when he went to southern Italy for G7 meeting. He was invited there. And then on 15th of the same month, he went to Switzerland, where discussions were ongoing on peace on Ukraine. And of course, on 4th of the same month, William Ruto had gone to South Korea in what many felt was a man who had swallowed humble pie, because when William Ruto got into power, he started on a very high note. He had told African presidents that there was no need of 54 of them going for a summit. American African Summit, Russia African Summit, Korea African Summit. All these developed countries usually call them. And they even reiterated a scene where African presidents were bundled into a bus when they were going for the burial ceremony of the late Queen Elizabeth. And William Ruto said that they had agreed that they will be represented by their leaders, like the African Union Commission chairperson. And when he went to South Korea, people were like, what? You've taken a U-turn. But if there is one trip that cost William Ruto, was the trip to the USA, when he was invited in what he felt was a very prestigious accolade, when he was invited to State House. And he went there. And when he came back, it elicited outrage, because it was said William Ruto had hired a jet that had cost taxpayers a whooping 200 million Kenyan shillings. In his usual manner, he tried to bully his way, defending the cost, saying that it only cost, 10 million. He had been told about 20 and he negotiated. People could not hear that, because Kenyans told him, you cannot hoodwink all the people all the time. And they told him, you are wrong on this. And one of the things that has made Gen Zs to go to the street was these local and international trips that are really costing Kenyans a lot of money, and they don't see any value for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto has been in the country. And for this 1 month that he has been in the country, he has only made a few trips to check on government development projects, and going into a few selected churches. And even in those trips, he's really been heckled. I remember when he was in Narok, his convoy was really heckled, and people were telling him, "Mwizi, mwizi." And so, most of the times, William Ruto has been in State House, in what many experts are wondering, what is really happening? The power of Gen Z. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you're watching us for the first time. Click the notification bell to allow YouTube to notify you. You can also give this video likes. By giving this video likes, you are promoting this video. And I want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for your continued and unwavering support. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't take it for granted. So I want us to look at, why do you think William Ruto has kept within? Why do you think the Gen Z managed to set a curfew? Because this is not the Ruto we know. At some point, people were making this joke that our president is a visitor in Kenya. He will sojourn for some few weeks, 2 weeks, and he jets into another country, even after promising that they were not going to be attending trips. They will be represented. I want us to look at that very keenly. And this is coming at a time when he has been under siege. He has been pushed into a corner. Number one, William Ruto fears that if he travels outside the country, and with the power of Gen Zs, they have occupied parliament, they have occupied Supreme Court, they have even gone to Nakuru State House. And you can imagine they are doing that and William Ruto is in the country. So William Ruto, I think, through the pieces of advice that he receives and out of fear, he knows these people can attempt to get to State House. And usually when I talk of getting into State House, I know what comes in your mind. People will be killed. And Gen Zs understand that people will be killed. This has happened in Sri Lanka. It has happened in Egypt, in Tunisia, in Sudan. So if they try to do that, it will not be the first time. Yes, there will be mass killings. Even now as we speak, they have not gone to State House, but we are retrieving bodies. Of course, I understand that the NIS are now trying to link it to some cult or something, but then people died. So if they decide in the absence of William Ruto to occupy State House in their numbers, I'm talking of millions, what will happen when William Ruto is outside the country? They can decide we occupy airport, we occupy everywhere. You saw them restricting members of parliament. They never went to church. They switched off their phones. They decided they vacated their rural homes because it's hot. So they can occupy that space and even the police will be overwhelmed. You saw how the military decided not to harass our generation in the streets. In fact, they became friends. This generation saw them and they welcomed. The military received a very cordial reception and they restrained themselves. Not even a single shot was fired. And so they can get there, and when the police is continuing the killings, the military can come out and say, no more shooting of our innocent generation. No more shooting of our youth. And then William Ruto will be told, don't come back. We are talking of things that have happened, and we don't pray that it befalls our country, because when the military takes over, they suspend the constitution, they will implement a curfew. Everyone becomes a civilian. Kila mtu ni raia. So William Ruto fears flying outside the country because that will be a coup by citizens themselves, and he fears that it can happen. Like a dream. No one never knew that by now William Ruto would have, dissolved the cabinet, that the Inspector General who kept on chest thumping would have resigned. Kithure Kindiki who had issued warning. All these people, Murkomen, chest thumping and all these people. The only people who are very lucky are people like Kimani Chungwa who are members of parliament. But even those cannot travel into certain places. So this can happen. And William Ruto knows very well that that will be the end of him. Of course, there will be bloodshed if you ask me, but it will happen. Number two, William Ruto is facing a very precarious moment, competition from his deputy president. He is the one who has come out to reveal that. When he met Raila, he requested him to help him because, in fact, he even said this to the members of parliament from Mount Kenya. He told them, this is a time when I'm extending an olive branch to Raila Amolo Odinga and to all the other parties so that we form an all-inclusive government, because my deputy has abrogated his duties. He's now competing, just what William Ruto was doing to Uhuru Kenyatta. Well, that is what we say karma. It comes back. William Ruto did this to Uhuru Kenyatta. He did not know that it will fall back. What goes round comes round. So he pleaded with them and he explained to them the need to include the opposition, because he was saying, I am experiencing threats from my deputy. my principal assistant. Instead of helping me, he's advancing his own personal cause. And of course, you've seen the way Gachagua is talking as if he's not part of this government, accusing the NIS of not giving enough information. And in fact, there are fears that Gachagua was infiltrating these demonstrations, these protests, so that by the end, he felt many people are arguing that he wanted William Ruto to be kicked out, then he remains. You see the way he had started, that is listening to the ground. He wanted to to present himself as a man of the people. And so that fear, William Ruto knows that he can fly out and then a few arrangements here with the military or the police and all that. And before you know it, you're told His Excellency Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is now the president of the country. And what will he do? And you're told, stay where you are. He will only seek for asylum in one of the friendly countries. And where would he go? He is not a friend to Museveni. They are not reading from the same script with Samia Suluhu. They have a very big altercation, strong altercation between himself and Felix Tshisekedi of Congo. Of course, you know what is happening in Sudan. They have rejected him for the peace deal. I don't know where he would go, but I know maybe America can accommodate him because he's a darling, the blue-eyed boy of Joe Biden. So he fears that, ladies and gentlemen. That's why he's not traveling, and it's because of that noise from Gen Z. And of course, this is also a way of showing or demonstrating that he has cut his foreign trips, because he said he wants to implement austerity measures. He said he's cutting down on the budget to First Lady and Second Lady. All those secret, how do we call them? The budget, personal budgets of those offices, he said he's suspending them. And of course, the Gen Z told him, we don't want negotiations. We want you to implement what we have given you. So apart from dissolving cabinet, kicking out IG, he's now telling them in a way that I have also reduced foreign traveling. And I think he's doing that. And of course, this is a moment to reflect on where the rain started beating him. This is a moment to reflect on what he needs to do best, because all along, he believes in bullying his way, defending with a lot of he believes he's cunning. You ask him who killed the little boy who was shot 8 times, and he tells you in Rongai, there was this man who snatched a gun from a police and he killed. He knows how to maneuver his way, but it backfired. So this is also a moment to reflect what he needs to do next, how to reconstruct a new cabinet, who will be the next IG, because we have the former deputy IG as acting in an acting capacity. So it's good to reflect and see what he needs to do, because IMF has tightened the news. The Gen Z have decided we are not backing down. So I think sometimes it is good to retreat, regroup your mind and your arsenal and your advisors to see what to do. And I think it is good for him. When William Ruto succeeds, we all succeed. He fails, we all fail. But the retrieval of the bodies from the quarries is something that has really boxed him in the chest. And I don't know what he's going to do. I've seen them trying to say that those bodies could be as a result of a cult. Whatever it is, we had Shakahola. If it turns out to be a cult, he will still explain to us why all this is happening in the country, and he doesn't know, because he took oath of office to protect Kenyans. We cannot have a country where people die. What if, I understand there's a lady who had a dream, and her sister had given her dream, and that's how she was led to that query. I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, our president is within the country for more than a month. And I think it is a good thing. Or what do you think? Share with me in the comment section.